Hey, it's DC Comics. We're doing our weekly comic wrap-up. We got a couple things to announce. First, we have the DC Comics, not DC Comics, we have the Super Smash Brothers tournament.
And we are Green Machine.
And we are Green Machine Comics. Did I say DC Comics?
Let's start from the beginning.
Man. Okay, we're going to try this again. We're Green Machine Comics. I have not had any food today, and clearly my blood sugar is dipping. I'm getting completely mixed up. I hope we leave that blooper in. But anyways, we are here to do our weekly comic review. We have a Smash Brothers tournament on Saturday after 4 p.m. this week, so please come. And wait till the end of the video, because we're going to give away some posters. Yeah. Needed a breather. Drinking too much ramen. Okay. So we're going to start the week off with a bang by going over Niomi, which I believe is my pull of the week. And I think we decided to start off with a really, really strong book. But this is turning out to be my favorite book these days. I really, really love this. This is Bendis, Walker, and I guess Campbell is the artist. We were confused about the artists on another video, so we reshot this. But anyway, so Walker is the artist, and it's just amazing. I mean, the story's good. There's a lot of intrigue. We found out she has an obsession with Superman. Superman visited her to town for like 12 seconds, punching Mongolin, and then came back to clean up, and she missed him both times. And then she comes to find out that there were other supers in town, so she starts asking questions, other metas. She starts asking questions, and it turns out they were there the day she got adopted. Yeah, which is a little weird. A bit ominous. So she may be from hero stock. She could be from villain stock. Who knows? You're just going to have to read to find out. And this issue doesn't quite explain everything. It's still pretty much a mystery. I think he said it was going to be about 4 issues until we really get to the bottom of things. So he said 4 issues. So we're too deep. The art is brilliant. If I could find a way to grind up and inject this art into my eyes so that I saw it everywhere I looked, I would do that. Like, oh my God, it's so good. I don't gush about books all this often. Now, well, okay, I do gush about books a lot. There's some truth to that. But this level of art is next tier. This is, yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is an 11. I love the art of this book. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. Niomi is a must-buy this week. DC fan, Marvel fan, pretty much anyone that loves superheroes should really be reading Niomi, because I think Bendis is birthing another Miles Morales here, and I can't wait to know more. So, yeah.
And what good guy Superman, dude, coming in and cleaning up after he's done?
Yeah, he cleaned up. I didn't know well, I guessed he did that. I mean, who's going to be the best at cleaning stuff up like that? Only the Flash probably is quicker.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The quicker picker-upper?
Maybe the Flash is quicker. You know, we don't know. Next, we're going to talk about Nightwing. And,
Dude, nice.
I mean, clearly Rick Grayson is still doing his I don't know, what did he do last time? He, like, popped a flare or something and used the smoke to, like, cover his face, and it was pretty grotesque, but nonetheless, he jumped in to help the other Nightwings who were sort of floundering, because we've got one there's 4 Nightwings. There are 4 new Nightwings. They've basically found his stash of costumes, and we've got one that's too gung-ho, one that's too gun-shy, one that seems pretty close to the original Dick Grayson, and one that's a fireman. And the fireman is my favorite. Like, I like the fireman the best. He comes out with an axe. But I'm not really feeling this. It's hard to say. The Joker's daughter obviously is in play. That's pretty cool. They're upset because they're going to knock down some homeless shelters and build some parking lots, which, believe it or not, is a pretty big thing in Tulsa, Oklahoma. All my friends from Tulsa complain that there are a billion parking lots, and they're always building more parking lots. Why is that? Probably someone's getting paid off, right? So Nightwing needs to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and get that handled, is what I think it comes down to. But actually, Nightwing doesn't handle that. The Joker's daughter handles it in a very brutal way. You know, because she's the Joker's daughter. Why is she fighting gentrification and helping the homeless? I don't know. I'm kind of cool with it. Do you bust her?
Who's the bad guy in this?
Right? I think it's gentrification. I don't know. This seems to be like a recurring theme. We had a gentrification Doctor Strange issue. Okay. So Nightwing this week is not super great. But I'm not feeling, I think the magic of these new Nightwings and the whole Rick Grayson thing is sort of fading. And I just, there is kind of a cool scene where one of the new Nightwings approaches the original Nightwing and sort of tells him, like, makes him an offer to be Nightwing. Which is really wholly goofy. I don't know. That's probably too much spoiler for you. I'm sorry if I slipped up, but I don't know. I don't know. It pains me to say it as a Bat Family fanboy, but I'm not having the best time with it right now. I know I liked all the TBI stuff. I don't know. Okay, so we're going to talk about... Sorry for all the cuts, by the way. It's just been a weird night. We're going to talk about Aquaman this week, and Aquaman is still on his ocean voyage, fable, legend, folklore tale, it feels like. It's not... It was really good at first. I liked that it felt like sort of legendy, and now it's starting to feel like filler. It's going on too long. I'm not digging it. I don't know. But... I do like the old kind of Greek tales, and I think it's, I don't know, it just feels like it's too long. It almost feels like it's longer than Drowned Earth at this point. I don't know, Drowned Earth came out over several books, right? So, like, they timed it so it was like, it felt like it was faster. This is what, the 4th or 5th month of this? I'm tired of it. I don't know. I guess he's meeting Nama, the mother of death. Obviously, they're building towards a big fight. Do you think that fight happens in this issue? No, not with that on the cover. Introducing her, no, not the issue they introduce her. So it'll probably be next issue. I don't know. Not feeling it. Yeah. So I would say if you're an Aquaman fan, you're probably gonna pick this up. If you're a DC fan, it's honestly this week it's wholly skippable. Next, we're going to talk about Old Man Quill. And, is this is the same universe that, like, Old Man Hawkeye and Old Man Logan? Because the future feels the same. It's just as bust. Yeah, it's just as bust. It's way horrible in this bleak future, this alternate timeline. I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. It's bleak, it's dark, it's very Mad Maxy, and honestly, it's... sort of fitting. Like, Quill's kind of burnt out in this future. Like, he's suffered a major loss of, like, a whole planet. And so he's just not his old self. And his old Guardians pal hook up with him, and they say, like, you know, let's do one last job. And so he's like, well, I guess. What else do I got to do? So he's doing it, but sort of reluctantly. And I like this Star-Lord. I like this gritty Star-Lord. Granted, he's not the lovable, like, long shot that he usually is, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So Old Man Quill, I've given it 2 issues, and I think it's a go. I'm having a good time with Old Man Quill so far.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. More goes, please.
Yes. Now we're going to talk about Black Widow, which is a huge go, especially this week. I don't know. Basically, Black Widow is dealing with some deep web stuff, and it involves some gross stuff that involves kids being mutilated on camera.
Oh, God.
Yeah, like really, really messed up stuff. And this is, she's in the place where Wolverine's Madripoor. Yeah, Wolverine's town where, you know, there's all the criminals and you used to just go mess people up and stuff. So she's doing that there. And so she's kind of getting to the bottom of this. So she doesn't have to hold back because she's dealing with pretty much the cruelest stuff in the world. And she wants to, you know, just sort of make an example. She wants to announce it. She wants to bring out these people that are doing this sort of thing. And she gets to be brutal. She is currently the second Punisher book that's running right now. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like Punisher Part 2. Okay. I had a good time with this. Really good time with this.
I was hearing you make some comments, man.
Yeah.
It sounded like you had some chuckles in
Oh, I did. There's this really funny scene. I'm gonna read like one tiny part of it. So she basically makes an example of some of the criminals, and she wants them to talk. And so they're all sort of having a conversation. And one of these people says, "It was heinous. Those dudes were all messed up. I didn't think anyone could do that to the Pirate King." And the other guy says, "One woman did that to his whole crew." Swear word. I don't want to run into her. Did you get a look at her face? Impossible. She was wearing an eye patch. Like, that's ridiculous and funny. I love it. I'm having the best time with this. So if you like The Punisher, or you like Red Hood, or you just like that kind of action, Black Widow, come pick it up. It's great. It's really, really good. I mean, it's dealing with kind of a gross topic. So if that'll bother you, which, you know, it kind of makes me cringe a little bit, but it's nice to see her give those kind of people retribution, and that's what this book is. It's a good retribution book. And we're back. Yeah, I don't know. But today has been just a cursed day for recording. We've had to like pause, stop, redo something. Apparently this last time Yogi was like, "Yo, you need some food because you don't look right." So I got food in me and I'm ready to go. And oh my God, are my books all mixed up? I hope not. We're talking about Black Widow, and if you like The Punisher, you should absolutely be reading Black Widow right now. Black Widow is amazing. She is the female Punisher. So if you like action, like, oh, it's so good right now. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about Sharky, and Sharky is, people walking by still after the mall's closed. Sharky is a bounty hunter, an intergalactic bounty hunter, and he gets paired up with a kid. Basically, he busts a guy, and the guy had a kid, so he's got to take the kid to the kid's family. And the kid's family is called, the kid's name is called Extra Billy, which is just the weirdest name for a kid. So Sharky and Extra Billy. I don't know. I like the intergalactic bounty hunter theme. I mean, it makes sense considering how much I like Mandalorians, and so I like it. Although he's very cowboy-y. He's a cowboy, intergalactic cowboy. Anyways, this book was a really strong showing, and go figure, Mark Millar. So Mark Millar, Simone Bianchi. I would say go check out this book. I had a darn fine time with this book. I think it's a good showing. It's a number one. Go pick it up. It's by Image. Oh, go figure. Image does great number ones. Next, we're going to talk about Justice League. And if you don't know, whenever they do Legion of Doom scrawled across it, that means it's a Legion of Doom comic. The last comic, it turned out that Martian Manhunter has ties to Lex Luthor. Lex actually helped him escape a place where he was being held captive when he was a kid, and both Lex's mind was wiped and Martian Manhunter's mind was, I guess he had lost it or something, but he refound it. So it turns out that Lex and Lionel Luthor were completely different people at one point, and they've both been wiped, and I guess that's where Lionel became an alcoholic. And so in this one, it puts Lex on a collision course with Brainiac because, I don't know, the beginning of this book is really funny, man. I got to tell you.
I got it right here.
Okay. So the beginning of this book, it shows Lex, like, they're trying to unlock the Perpetua, which is, she's going to lead everyone to doom. That's what Legion of Doom wants. That's what Lex wants because he had a vision of the future. So in order to unlock Perpetua, he's like actually hurting himself. Like he's hooked up all these electrodes to his brain, and he's hurting himself, and he's screaming. And Gorilla Grodd, no joke, like walks in with the kid still strapped to his chest, Turtle. Tortoise or whatever it is, the Still Force kid. He walks in and he's like, "Hey man, could you keep it down? Like you're troubling the child." And then Lex is like, Lex is like, "No, I need the pain." He's like, "Well, if you're in pain, I'm okay with that."
Totally like a dad with like a kid strapped to his chest, like, "Hey man."
But what's funny is like when Lex is like, "Well, I need the pain." He's like, "Oh, you're in pain? Oh, okay. That doesn't bother me." So anyways, Brainiac goes to hook up to Lex to sort of unlock the device and get the answers. And when he does that, of course, it puts him on a collision course with Lex. I don't know, why do these villains let themselves get into these situations? Why? Like why would you let Brainiac hook up to your brain? Like, I would think as Lex Luthor, like, that is a no-go from the beginning. Nope. But, whatever. I'm actually having a damn fine time with the Justice League run right now. I would say go pick this up. This is a must-buy if you're a DC fan. If you're a Marvel fan and you want to dip your toes in some DC, Justice League is great these days. I would say go check that out. Next is Guardians of the Galaxy #2. Did you have high hopes for this book?
I always have high hopes.
You had high hopes for this book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I have high hopes for it, too, because I had a good time. At one point, there is a fight between Groot and Cosmic Ghost Rider, and I think that makes the whole book worth it.
Yeah.
Right? That makes the whole book worth it. No, it's a really good read. The beginning of this is great. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling a little too much for people, but look, I'm going to do it. If you don't want to know it, you might want to skip for the next minute. But the beginning of this book has Quill, like, sitting there drunk dialing Kitty Pryde.
Okay.
Like, he's not hitting on her. He's just like, look, I can't call you-know-who, so I'm going to call you. And she's like, why are you calling? Wait, you're drunk. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. He's like, yeah, congrats to you and Colossus. But, I got problems. It's so good.
What's your secret, Kitty?
Yeah.
Dude, I just want to know what that banter is going to be like between Groot and the Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Well, I mean, he is the Punisher, too, technically.
It's just going to be, I am Groot, yeah, and I am Groot.
No. It's the
talking?
comics. The comics,
Okay.
they talk. He talks.
Yeah, good.
He always talks in the comics. Like, the only people that think that are the ones that don't read the comics. No, I'm just busting your balls, man.
Are you still?
Yeah, I'm just busting your balls. Okay. Next is Batman: The Price. The Price of Vengeance. No. So, what do you know about The Price?
So this is part 3 of the price.
This is part 3. They were investigating what happened. Turns out Gotham Girl. What should I say it?
It was in the last issue, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Gotham Girl is in play. Gotham Girl has got a little crazy because her and her brother wanted to be heroes so bad that's what they planned the whole time. And then her brother died. And that broke her, and then Psycho Pirate broke her. So she's a broken superhero of sorts and trying to get to the bottom of things. And there are other clones of both her and her brother in play. Are there not?
Yes.
There are. And so Flash and Batman are dealing with this. Flash is pretty mad at Batman right now. He thinks he's lying to him. He doesn't think he knows he's giving him the whole story. He wants to know if Gotham Girl was involved in Heroes in Crisis. And was she? I don't know. I don't know. It seems to be going back and forth. What do you think, man?
I think that's a throwaway. I don't think she was involved.
You think it's a red herring?
Yeah.
He thinks it's a red herring. I think it's a red herring, too. I think it's too easy for it to be Gotham Girl. But we'll see. We'll see. So The Price. This is the 3rd book in the series. It's not too late to get it on The Price. We have plenty of copies. I don't know why, but Diamond got us way more copies than we needed this week. So please come by The Price. Next is High Level. High Level is an interesting story. Stop me if you've heard this one before.
Stop.
Okay. So people living in an area that's not the best, and there's talk of a mystical city. A city where people can go, and it's like heaven. Except that nobody has seen it. And those people that have seen it can't find it again. So it's Shangri-La. We're dealing with Shangri-La, except for it's Mad Max's Shangri-La, I guess. Maybe. Yeah, it's El Dorado works too. El Dorado. So this is Mad Max's El Dorado. I don't know. I have high hopes for it. I think it's a good showing from the DC Vertigo imprint. I had a good time. I'm gonna give it another book before I say it's a must buy. Right now, I'm on the fence. The artwork is pretty darn good. The artwork's pretty darn good. The storyline's iffy right now. It's iffy. It's cyberpunky mixed with Mad Max. I'm not sure if I like that feeling. I'm gonna let it go for another issue. So next is Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and we got 2 Spider-Men going this week. So okay, this one. This is a weird book. Weird book, right? It seemed like a really strong showing when it opened. It involves a part of New York I don't remember. Do you remember Lower New York?
No.
Which looks like another version of New York. You have to take some crazy elevator to get down there, and then when you're down there, it's like lit up like a regular New York. I don't know this New York. Maybe it's some old comics thing that I just missed in passing. Remember, I grew up DC, so I wasn't the giantest of Marvel fans. And he's running around with somebody named the Rumor, and the Rumor is an old lady that wears a mask and can kick butt.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. Basically, he's trying to keep her kids safe or her grandkids safe and trying to rescue someone from Lower New York. And it's very weird and surreal. I didn't have a bad time with it. It's just different. It's not a typical Spider-Man feeling type book. So it was okay. Next, it was okay. If you're a Spider-Man fan, you're probably going to pick this up. If you're a Marvel fan, you're probably going to pick this up maybe. I don't know. It wasn't the best showing of the week. Now, the best Spider-Man showing of the week was the Miles Morales Spider-Man, and this book was great. Really, really great. First of all, Rhino is working with Miles because Rhino's niece has been kidnapped. So he's legitimately concerned. And then on top of that, like, Cap is there, and Cap is very Cap. It's very heartwarming, pre-Secret Empire Cap. Like, I love this Cap. I wish we could take this Cap and throw him into the mainline book because that doesn't feel like Cap to me. So, I don't know. So Miles and Cap bond about both being from Queens. Or are they from the Queens or the Bronx? Maybe they're from the Bronx. Maybe I've got it backwards. I think Parker's from Queens. Yeah. And they're both from the Bronx. Maybe I'm confused. I might have them backwards. I don't know New York that well. I don't know boroughs. So anyways, like, Rhino helps out, and they deal with a very creepy villain with, like, mind control stuff. And who do you think is the only one of Rhino, Miles, and Cap that can fight the mind control power? I don't know. Who do you think? They're all pretty good characters.
Oh.
But I would say my pick is Cap.
Really?
So, I don't think so. Well, he kind of was. But I don't know. So anyways, I gotta stop. I gotta stop with the spoilers, man. I gotta stop. But I loved it. It was great. This is the wrapping up of, I think, a 2-book event. I don't think it was a very big event. 3-book event. Sorry, 3-book event so far. So it's a good opening for Miles' new book. On top of that, when the event wraps up and Cap gives compliments to the team, I loved it. I love Cap giving Rhino compliments. Was so good.
Was it a compliment sandwich?
Oh, it was the Boy Scout giving compliments. I loved it. Whoever is writing this needs to go and write Cap right now. Go write that Cap, please. He needs a break. Next, we're going to talk about Middle West. And Middle West was a really, really strong showing from Scotty Young. I had a great time for the first book. I had a all right time with the second book. I had a so-so time with the third book. And now we're on the fourth book, and I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm really bored. It seems like it's the same thing most of the time. It's like, oh, don't make the kid mad. The kid gets mad, and crazy magic stuff happens. And they're running around a techno magic world with still no explanation as to why this world is the way it is. I don't know. I'm not into it.
And it's good artwork. I know it's not Scotty Young doing the art, but it's really cool looking.
It's cool looking. It looks great. Like, the art is great. The story is not so much. I don't know. Maybe, I think this is the same style of art that they did with Bully Wars, which I did not like in the end. So, I don't know. So. The weirdest book that I liked this week, and we have joked and made fun of this stuff. So Wolverine Infinity Watch, okay? And I didn't like, I should preface this, I got event fatigue from the Infinity Wars event. I didn't like it in the end. I felt like it went on too long and it was too gimmicky. And they're doing this season of OP, and clearly Wolverine is in play now with the Infinity Stones, and I thought I was not going to like this. I had a good time with this. A really good time with this. And there's more to it. You remember when Adam Warlock made the stones sentient? The stones have now become actual people. Or merged with people. They haven't fully explained it. But suddenly people are getting stone powers. And that's wild, right? So what's going to happen? People are going to go after these people, like, right? Oh, so they've set some fun stages. So I didn't like that event, how long it went on, but I didn't realize what they were doing when they gave the stone sentience. Now I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Now I'm intrigued. On top of that, I know that they were doing the season of OP, and it's kind of getting on both yours and my nerves. Like, I like flaws in my characters. I don't like characters being like wicked overpowered, and yet still had a great time with this book. I don't know. And there's more to it. Loki's in the middle of this playing pranks, and the Loki pranks are just damn hysterical. Gets him legitimately stabbed by Logan at one point. So funny. So funny, dude. Like, he's laughing while he's bleeding. It's so good. Yeah.
I like that kind of Loki. That's cool.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. We need to review Venom. Because there was a bunch of wild cards with Venom, wasn't there? There was a ton of wild cards with Venom. We had his brother in play, right? We didn't know where his brother came from. He's gone back to San Francisco. He's been dealing with his dad. Turns out his dad is like an abuser. There's more to it. There was something about his sister being hit by a car that was being hit by, I think she was hit by Eddie Brock, was what it was implied, right?
I don't think it was his sister that got hit. It was a kid that was walking down the street.
No, it was his sister.
Was that his
He has memories of a sister. They touch on this in this. There's a whole bunch of stuff. His sister, his uncle dying of cancer, him getting cancer. They cover all of that stuff. And the explanation is crazy good. Like, Donny Cates, I can't say enough good things about Donny Cates. I can't. Donny Cates is dope, dude. And you know what? Here's the other thing about Donny Cates. If you aren't following Donny Cates' Twitter, you're missing the best thing on Twitter. Like, I could ignore everything else on Twitter, but his Twitter feed is great. Like, I think he had a post today that said, like, are you upset about Netflix canceling Luke Cage and Iron Fist and Jessica Jones and when in Punisher? He's like, if only there was a place where you could continue these stories. Right? I love Donny Cates for that. His Twitter is great. I don't know this dude, but I know him as a writer. I don't know him in real life, but I want to know this guy. He's got a great personality, and it shows in what he writes. He writes wonderful things. He writes characters you can identify with. He writes flawed characters. Deliciously flawed characters. I love Donny Cates for this. So in the year of OP, Donny Cates is writing some dope stuff. Now we're going to go into, I'm like bouncing, Uncanny XMen. And are you ready for it?
Bring it.
So you know my take on mutants and how I've never been the biggest mutant fan. And people were like, why were you not reviewing X-Men books? And so I was like, okay, I'll jump it on board. And I've been reviewing Uncanny X-Men and Age of X-Men, and I'm having the best time. I had a really good time with this Uncanny X-Men. It starts off with Cyclops and Wolverine, and they're like, there's no more X-Men, they're just gone. And Wolverine says, well, actually, that's not true. Guess what happened to all the mutants?
What happened?
Oh, what do you think happens to mutants in the X-Men universe, which is the Marvel universe?
They get OP?
No, they get captured.
Oh.
And they need some rescuing. And that's what this book is. And I had a good time with this book. As somebody who is not a mutant fan, I had a great time with this book. It's written well. Granted, it's Rosenberg, and I do love Rosenberg. But it's written well. The art is great. As somebody who isn't a mutant fan, I'm having a great time with Uncanny. So I would say this is a must-buy if you're an X-Men fan. If you're a Marvel fan, I would say this is a must-buy. If you're a DC fan and you want to dip your toes in some Marvel, maybe get on some a little mutant action, this is a good book to do it with. I had a great time with that book. And more importantly, I would say go buy the last book because I had a really good time with that last book too. So 11 and 12, get them. Uncanny X-Men. Next is Age of X-Men, Nightcrawler. So this is in the alternate reality of X-Man, I guess. X-Men has made the world a utopia. The world is perfect, although children are no longer born naturally. They're born in pods. There's mutants everywhere. And it's very utopian, but there's some dystopian elements. People have sort of woken up and apparently had to be, I guess, reprogrammed, is what it was hinted at.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember? Or?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like people were getting reprogrammed, but I'm not entirely sure. They sort of hinted at it. The writing is pretty well, or really well, actually. But this is following Nightcrawler, and Nightcrawler in this universe. What do you think Nightcrawler is?
Captured?
No, he's an actor. He's an actor. And I found it really funny. He's like talking about going out to dinner with some people, and like they call him up from the X Mansion, and they're like, why don't you just pop on over and have dinner with us? And he's like, oh, I can't. I'm busy tonight, but maybe tomorrow night. It's like, dude, you teleport. Like, what is your problem, man?
His thing is he's got to see where he teleports though too, right?
I guess, but like, I was like, dude, come on, man. So, anyways, but I had a good time with it. There's definite cracks showing in the utopia. I think Nightcrawler is one of them. Because what do you think? A future where children are born to pods and not people. What do you think is not allowed?
Procreation.
Yes. Yeah, but when you're a famous movie star,
You can procreate.
well, I mean, you do. I don't think you can. Yeah. So Nightcrawler might be getting in some trouble. Yeah, but Age of X-Men. I'm having a great time with these Age of X-Men books. I don't think they're the best showing. I think Uncanny XMen is the best mutant showing right now. But this is pretty good. I'm intrigued by the mystery. But I like dystopian, utopian stuff. I have a tendency to favor that stuff. Let's go on next to Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange has been in trouble. He's been in trouble because all his people, pretty much all of mankind has been using magic freely, and the bill has come due. Like, yeah. So there's some bill collectors and some people, and these people happen to be working with Dormammu in an attempt to conquer the Earth. So Dormammu's in play. You know, it's Doctor Strange's version of his arch nemesis. Dormammu looks dope as hell in the comics, by the way. I don't know if you knew this, but Dormammu has such a cool look. Anyway, so then, and this follows, the Ancient One reappeared, but the Ancient One had their knowledge of magic ripped out of them, and that comes into play here. Yeah, forcibly ripped out of them. It was pretty messed up. So that comes into play. It is a really, really awesome showing. Not enough people are reading Doctor Strange these days. They're doing stuff in Doctor Strange that I've never seen them do. I've never seen him make his own powers, make his own artifacts. He's been doing that. There's a lot of good stuff to be had here, and the art is outstanding. Go figure. Mark Waid and Jesus Saez. This is an awesome book. More people should be jumping out on Doctor Strange right now. I'm having a great time. And more importantly, the next issue is going to have some big bad. Some big cosmic bad. Who do you think it is? Guesses? You might be right. You might not. You got to read Doctor Strange to find out.
Or previews.
Next is the Avengers. And oh my God, I think they finally hit their stride. I was not having a good time with the Avengers for a few weeks there. I don't know why. It just wasn't clicking with me. Although,
The play thing, man.
seeing Ghost Rider underwater in the Namor event was funnier than hell. That was funny. Flames underwater and a low rider. That was great. Meanwhile, they're in the middle of a vampire civil war. It's messed up. They're struggling. Their base is kind of overran right now with vampires. On top of that, you got to look at this cover. Like, look at this cover. On it, it has this vampire dog that says, "Buy this comic or we'll kill this Avenger." And poor old Robbie Reyes. Caught right in the middle. That's Robbie Reyes, right? Is that his name? Did I get it right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you got it right.
I got it right. I don't normally remember Ghost Rider. It is Robbie Reyes. I remembered it. I couldn't remember his name for some reason. So Vampire Civil War. Having the best time with this. I don't know, man. Like, I think they've hit their stride finally. Maybe what we need is we need more Blade. We need more Blade in comics these days.
I think so.
There is not enough vampire stuff and not enough Blade stuff in the world. I need more. But I'm having a great time. I don't know. This is what is it? 2 books deep? 2 books deep now. Not too late to jump in on this. This was a great run. I mean, a great time. I had a really good time with this book. So, Avengers, go pick it up. And DC fans, I'm sorry, you would have a good time with this book. Go pick it up. DC fans could check it out. Marvel fans could, well, obviously Marvel fans should check it out. But if you want to dip your toes as a DC fan into some Marvel, the Avengers right now is a good pick.
If you like Blade in the 90s.
If you like Blade, well, if you like Blade at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next, we're going to talk about Bitterroot. I see what they're doing with Bitterroot now. So there are monsters, and these monsters are called June G or something? June G. And it's basically like white people that get infected with this demon monster thing. But they're using it as a metaphor for racism, right? And for the first time, they've encountered black folks that are infected, but they're not called Junji. They're called something else, and they turn into monsters too. So it's totally a metaphor for everyone can be racist, and that we need to come together and not be monsters. I love this book. I love this book. Bitterroot is such a good showing by Walker Brown and Green. Renzi Coles. I don't know. The team that's working on Bitterroot, you guys are doing an amazing job. And I think you're not just telling like a good story, you're telling a fantastic story, not only filled with action, but it makes me think and it makes me question our times and look at ourselves. I love this. I love this book. I'm having such a damn good time with Bitterroot. Obviously I'm an art fan. Like I'm really big about writing because I'm a writer, but the art is usually what sells me, and the art in Bitterroot is just outstanding. It's brilliant. So more people need to be buying Bitterroot from Image. It's Image's best showing of the year this year, I think. Next, we're going to talk about Jughead the Hunger. Jughead the Hunger, the Archie Madhouse series. Now, I like the dark and creepy stuff, but I got to tell you, some of the best writing and the most real and flawed characters that I've been feeling this year seem to be coming from the Archie stuff. It's really, really weird. I had a good time with that other Archie book that was just a regular mainline Archie book.
Was it Sabrina?
Yeah, with Sabrina crossed over into that. But, Archie, Jughead the Hunger, had a great time with this book. I think more people need to be reading Jughead the Hunger. And we're building towards Jughead versus Vampironica, which I think is been announced. No, it's been announced, so it's coming. So go pick up Jughead the Hunger. If you like the dark stuff, this is a really, really good read. Next is Hulkverines. And, man, we have been making fun of this title for a long time, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah, we have. I don't like the Weapon H stuff. I don't like it because I think it's not a flawed character. It's taking too much OP stuff and just putting it together. And it feels to me like Marvel is just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And old Wolverine crossed with the Hulk is stupid OP. Stupid OP. And yet, had a pretty good time with this book. Had a pretty good time with this book. I didn't hate it. Maybe there's a reason for it. You can see from the cover, there are two people that are rather pissed off that this person exists. And of course, this would eventually have to happen. And I had a good time with it. I didn't hate it. It was fun. So I'm gonna give Weapon H a chance because of this book. I'm gonna maybe read the next Weapon H when it comes in. But I didn't hate this. I don't think it's a very original concept. I think it's too OP. I have a lot of criticism for doing stuff like this, and yet had an all right time. So whatever. Take it as a win. Next is Conspiracy.
I like the title of this one.
Conspiracy, and it centers around the Denver airport, and it shows like a Pegasus with like flaming noses, which I think is like a sculpture there or something. Mm-hmm. And then there's like other weird sculptures there. There's like
there's paintings on the wall that they covered up recently.
Yeah, there's all types of weirdness going on with the Denver airport and a bunch of conspiracies about it. And this centers around it because it turns out the Denver airport is a hub for the Illuminati.
Ooh.
Whoa. And this centers around a mom who is up for a high position in the Illuminati and a kid who is really obnoxious that is her son. That is pretty much stumbled into a place where he just can't see too much, where it's gonna get him in trouble. Had a good time with this book. It wasn't terribly deep. The plot wasn't really deep. We got the explanation for the weird stuff at the Denver airport, and that was about it. I was hoping for like a little more conspiracy and intrigue, but instead they were just like, "Yo, the Illuminati's here. That's what's weird." Okay. And it's the third book, so that's not technically a spoiler if you've been following this. But it wasn't super deep conspiracy thing. It was just a weird plot. So whatever. This is from Zenoscope, and I don't tend to read a lot of Zenoscope. I don't know anyone who really does. I'm not being critical of Zenoscope. If you like Zenoscope books, that's your cup of tea. That's cool, man. I don't read a lot of Zenoscope books, so I don't know what to expect. So is all I'm gonna say on that. So conspiracy. If you like the Denver airport, or you like weird stories involving Illuminatis and lizard overlords and chemtrails and stuff like that, this is kind of fun. There's no real explanation for it, but it's fun.
Sometimes you just want a fun book.
Sometimes you just want a fun book. That's true. Avengers No Road Home, and we follow the adventures of Hercules. And I had this mixed up last time. I thought Conan was crossing over with Avengers, and that's still coming apparently. But this is Hercules crossing over with the Avengers, and it involves some old gods of like, what is it? Hercules Greek?
Yeah.
Greek gods.
Yeah,
So like Zeus and all that other pantheons, and I don't know. I don't know. Not having the best time with it. It's okay. I don't hate it. I mean, it's nice to see the Avengers doing stuff with other people. However, I don't know. Hercules has never felt right to me in the Marvel Universe, and maybe that's because I'm a DC fan and I've seen like how they do their pantheon, and I love the Wonder Woman stuff. Just I don't know. Didn't feel right to me. I don't know. As a DC fan, this is probably wholly skippable, I would say. It's coherent. It's just I don't have a lot of investment in those characters. I don't know. Like maybe the God of Night has appeared before in Marvel or something, and I don't know. But I didn't care. Like she murders a bunch of people that I didn't know were really a thing in Marvel like 20 minutes before, and they're dead, and GG, and whatever. I don't know. If you like the Avengers, you're probably into this. If you like sort of Greek god stuff in your Marvel, you're probably into this. If you like magic, you're probably into this. Magic in your Marvel stuff. It was okay. I just wouldn't say it's a great showing. It was okay at best. Yeah. Sad face. Okay, next is Judge Dredd Toxic. And this is wrapping up the event. What do we know about this event? Do you remember anything?
Yes, it was dealing with illegal aliens.
Illegal aliens. Illegal space aliens. And these illegal space aliens were living in what's the big city's name? Big City 1 or Mega City 1. Mega City 1. And they basically, these aliens were really helpful. They were like symbiotes, not like the Venom where you go test type thing, but they would fix people. They would make them healthy, and they were allowing people like mutants who would normally get sick and die in like the worst parts of the city, the sewers, to live and thrive because it was like helping their immune system and building them up and repairing like whatever damage they had to their bodies. And so it was helping people, and people were mad about it because they hated those darn illegal aliens. And we found out, I didn't know that, but they had a main bad guy running around in this. Yeah. So the main bad guy looks like a certain president. But his name was, I didn't know his name until this issue, but they got to the end, and it turns out his name is Spencer Richard. Yeah, so that is poking fun. If you don't know who that's poking fun at, it's poking fun at a Nazi. An actual Nazi, right? Yeah, mind blown. So if you don't like having some politics in your comics, you should probably avoid Judge Dredd Toxic. I, on the other hand, had a really good time with it. I like Judge Dredd. I like Judge Dredd stuff, and I thought this was kind of a fun event. And by the end of it, I liked the space aliens, the blenders. I thought they were kind of, they were ugly as all sin, but they were sweet. They were sweet. They were all about like love and helping people, and I liked that. So whatever. We're going to get to I guess this is our last book. All right. So our last book for the week is Anthem. And if you don't know what Anthem is I think it's an EA game, right? EA, yeah. Anthem is an EA BioWare game. People have reported weird stuff back and forth with their beta, their alpha or something. There's been a lot of bugs, a lot of controversy centering around this game. The game looks almost like it's space Iron Man type stuff. You see people flying around and stuff like that. And I didn't have high hopes for this comic going in. I thought this comic was just going to be sort of filler or a shaky backstory centering around the game or something. However, had a pretty good time with it. The characters in it were at least relatable to me, kind of. There were a couple kids that sort of come together and become like New World brother and sister. And I think they're setting themselves up for this program where they become these super soldiers. And they deal with like these bad guys that are like scrappers, but they're like robots that scrap stuff to build more robots. So it's weird. So when you kill them, you're not actually killing them, is I guess the sentiment. They're just going to go build themselves back up or something. Weird. So I don't know. I had a good time with this book. Oddly enough, it felt like a sort of watered down kind of Halo thing, but yeah, like you want them to get to this point where they become these super soldiers. So I don't know. I had a good time. So Anthem. Oddly enough, the Anthem comic, I don't know, there's a lot of controversy with the game, so maybe it's not your cup of tea, but the comic is a strong showing. So hopefully the game is an equally strong showing. I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope these days from EA. I'm sorry, but EA has done me wrong. And that's all of our comics from this week. We were going to do a raffle, right? Yeah. Ah! Where the hell did this come from? Good God. Okay, we got a raffle. Okay. Let's reel this up. 30. Yeah. 14. Oh. I'm not putting it back in. Our POS is going crazy. We'll just spin it a couple more times and stall for time. Hey, look, everyone. Hellboy Day is March 23rd, 2019, and we might have some free stuff on Hellboy Day. So come through and check us out on Hellboy Day, March 23rd, 2019. Oh, my God, that's a month from Saturday.
Okay, give me a number.
30.
30 is going to be Nate Wiltron.
Nate Wiltron, you won a poster. 14.
14. Robbie Warner.
Robbie Warner won again. And 89.
89 is going to be Philip Lopez.
Philip Lopez. So if you are one of these people that we announced, come in this week and get a poster. Tell us that you watched the video and you saw that you want a poster, and we'll give you a poster. And that is all for this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So bye, guys.
Dance.